Raman had a corner. Every morning, he sat by the temple gates, a worn blanket, a rusty cup, and a sign that read, "Please help." People dropped coins. Some avoided eye contact. And day by day, Raman faded further into the background. But Raman wasn't always like this. Years ago, he had a shop, a small family, a future. Then, one accident, one bad loan, one betrayal, and it was all gone. What remained wasn't just poverty, it was belief that nothing could ever change. So he stopped trying, stopped thinking. Survival became routine, not a fight, until one afternoon, an old monk dropped a coin into his cup and didn't walk away. He said, "Do you want to know what I see when I look at you?" Raman shrugged. "A beggar?" The monk smiled. "Number, I see a man waiting for permission to stop being one." "Permission?" Raman asked. The monk nodded. "You're not trapped by poverty. You're trapped by identity." That sentence hit harder than any coin ever had. The monk sat beside him and said, "I'll come back for the next 7 days. No money, just questions. If you answer honestly, you'll leave this corner." Raman laughed, a dry laugh. "What makes you think I want to?" The monk smiled gently, because even laughter holds pain. Day 1. "What do you know better than most people who pass you by?" Raman thought. "Street prices, timing, what people give, what they avoid." The monk nodded. "That's observation. That's business intelligence." Day 2. "If I gave you 10 coins, what would you do besides eat?" Raman hesitated, then answered, "Buy small candles. Sell them near the evening crowd." The monk smiled. "That is strategy." Raman didn't smile back, but something flickered deep inside. By day 4, Raman was no longer leaning back. He sat straighter, watched people more closely. Day 5, the monk asked, "Why haven't you left this spot?" Silence, then a whisper, "Because I think no one expects me to." The monk said, "Sometimes the world doesn't cage you. You sit in the cage, thinking it's your place." Day 6. The monk didn't come. Raman waited, and in that wait, he realized something. He missed thinking. On the final day, the monk returned with a cloth bag. Inside, a notepad, a pen, and 20 small candles. Raman looked confused. The monk said, "Business begins with belief. You already have the rest." That evening, Raman stood. He sold all 20 candles, not for much, but it wasn't about money. It was about proving he could offer, not just ask. Days passed, then weeks. He bought more candles, then incense. He built trust. He learned what sold and what didn't. He was still poor, but he was no longer a beggar. The difference? Direction. A shopkeeper offered him half a shelf. Months later, it became a stall, then a small shop. Raman didn't celebrate. No noise, no announcement. He just cleaned the dust off that same rusty cup and kept it as a reminder. Years later, a man passed by and asked, "Weren't you the guy who used to sit outside the temple?" Raman nodded. "What changed?" He smiled. "Someone asked me better questions than I ever asked myself." And on the wall of his shop, there was a frame. Inside, one coin, the first one from the monk. Under it, a note. "You don't need to be rescued. You need to be reminded who you were before the fall." And that's how a beggar became a businessman, not with money, but with belief.